Hello and welcome to another Precision Flyer Repairs video. This one is part 3 of 3 on my refurbishment and repairs to this American Flyer 332 AC Northern steam engine that a friend and customer of mine dropped off. The last time that you saw it, it was on the rollers but without its shells back on and components added such as steam chest, pilot, trail link truck, etc. Here it is fully assembled on the layout, ready for its final shakedown. And well, the last time you saw it, it had some pretty bad scratches on this right side of the tender, and they're very much gone. I tried flat black, satin black, and steam power black until I found a good match for this engine's current finish and patina at the stage it's at in its life. So it's looking pretty sharp, and now's the time to give it a test. Actually, it's been through a full battery test, as when I finish an engine, I take it out on the layout and I run it clockwise, counterclockwise, forward and reverse, with a train in tow and without a train in tow, through single switches and through compounder back-to-back switches, so that I can see how it performs in real life circumstances that my customer might put it through on their layout. So this is an abbreviated form of a test routine. I've recorded it on the legacy system, and I'll press a button on the cab 2 to activate the playback, and that way I can move around and videotape the engine while it's in action. The layout is capable of running engines that are controlled by either conventional AC, legacy or TMCC, DCC, as well as the S-Helper Locomatic system, which these 10 button boxes are used for those of you that remember that. The layout's broken out into blocks and sidings, which I can address with those toggle switches to either turn the power on, off, or with a trickle feed, so that the old American Flyer reverse units don't trigger. And I can select whichever part of the track I want to see what voltage is being fed to it at the time. So while the train is running, I'm not going to really say a lot. I'd like you to hear the great Gilbert choo-choo, and plus talking over the engine sounds is a little difficult then for you to hear me much through that. But it's going to go through an abbreviated routine where you'll see it run on the second from the outside loop, through some single switches, through some compound or double switches where the two loops intersect. It'll run in reverse and pretty much stay between 10 and 13 volts. It can go a lot faster at 14 and 15 volts than you're going to see, but keeping it within reason right now, I thought that was a reasonable range. Plus, it's a good range to be testing its passage through switches. So without any further ado, let's get underway. Here's the cab 2. I'm going to press playback, or actually record, which then starts the playback. As you can see, it's playing. I'll select loop 1, where I'm going to power up the outer loop before I get there, and then loop 2, and it should start up right about at 10 volts, which is where the reverse unit is specified to kick in. It's a smooth, steady, straight runner, which I'm really pleased with the outcome of that. I was disappointed with even the revived original smoke unit, coil and wick, so I rewound it and replaced it with one that I hand wound to get fresh wick. There you see it going through single switches real nicely, smoothly. I think that's important to test, but not only in forward, it's important also to see how well it can navigate switches when backing up. That was good. And these are S-Helper switches. I don't know if you're at all familiar with them. but they're kind of worst case. They're thin rail heads, and if anything is going to go wrong through these switches, it'll be with them. So as with American Flyer Gilbert, more forgiving in nature, this engine will perform even better than you're seeing it do today. So we have it going through compound or back-to-back switches. Even though there's a 5-inch straightaway between them, which is what I recommend doing rather than directly back-to-back, she's zipping through those just fine. Now see how it is out in the open road. Looking for how straight it is, how smooth it is, how well it runs in general. That's adequate smoke generation. Typically with a 4-wire unit. Pretty pleased with the way that turned out. But as I mentioned before, it's not just forward performance out on the open rail as well as these switches, but also what you like in reverse. This one demonstrates very similar performance in either direction. Coming up through a pair of switches and another. A little open road performance now in reverse. Looking for any wobble. See how balanced. And straight it runs. That was pretty good. I think this engine is ready for its customer, and prime time on the high rail of SPH once again. So thanks for joining me with another Precision Flyer Repairs video. Until the next time, be well and have fun running your trains.